let me show you something. So there is this very typical tactical idea in Go that when somebody attaches to your stone, what do we do? Like, for example, when black attaches here, what is the first reaction? What is white's first instinct here?
Well, you have two choices, right? Or possible choices. One is Nobi and one is Hane.
Yeah, which one is the usual one?
Probably Nobi is more common.
Uh, nope. And that's the thing. So this is exactly what I'm trying to show you. That whenever somebody attaches to your stone, be it just independently like this, for example, just like this, in the middle of nowhere, just out of the blue, just attaching. Yes, you have basically four options of response. You have Nobi Nobi, Hane Hane. But your first instinct, your default setting should be Hane. Hane is the move. It's the logical, aggressive enough. Not Nobi is a very lukewarm response. It's a little bit scared. It's like, I'm not sure I can afford this. Maybe my shape is not strong enough. Oh, let me just extend. Let me just play a Nobi. But when you're more confident, you're like, yeah, I'm going to Hane and take the situation under my control. Because when you're playing a Hane here, you're putting this stone in danger immediately. The white stone is in danger. Now white needs to figure out how to maneuver out of this. Otherwise, white is going to be in trouble. So same thing here. Black attaches. If you Nobi, something like this, black will Nobi, and black is getting a lot of points. I mean, yes, sometimes this move is played, yes, and this is a different Joseki with a different idea. But the usual, the most common thing is just outside Hane, not inside. This is risky. Again, sometimes inside will be good, but for now, let's just focus on this one simple thing. Outside Hane is the most classic sort of take control of the situation maneuver.
Okay.
Black would save the stone, you'd connect, that's it. Or, for example, I don't know, there's a stone, black attaches here. Same thing. Black attaches. We we have options, but the first one and the most reasonable one is which move?
Q12.
Q12. Yes, we play Q12 and this one. And then black would probably save the stone, and we would help protect the cutting point. For example, a tiger's mouth.
Yeah.
Okay, then how about this one? This is also something you've seen, probably. Black has a 4-4, white approaches, and then we cover it. How should white respond?
Okay. Well, I'm going to say G16.
Yes, yes, G16 is, I mean, yes, you have choices, but G16 is the most reasonable and the most classic response here. Yes. You're playing here, and you're immediately threatening to start surrounding the stone. Next move will be Atari, so black needs to save it. And now black needs to do something like that, and you'll do this, and both players are happy. Black is building something on the left, taking the corner. White is building something on the upper side. That's this is Joseki. Now let's go to the game and see the same thing, how you should have applied it in your game. So you're black. Here it is. White attaches, and well, we're choosing what to do. And yeah, you're going for the safest choice. I feel like I understand why you're doing this because it feels like it's such a safe thing to do, but not the most, not the best thing, and not the most take control thing.
Okay, well, let's do P11.
Yes, P11 is the move. When you do P11, white needs to probably extend that way. You connect, and this way, look at what's happening. You had some territory in the corner, and now, thanks to this Hane, you're curving around your opponent's stones, and you're preparing to keep building this way, so that later you could make an extension and claim more points this way. Besides, you're also threatening to keep playing something like this to attack the group. But if we imagine that instead of this, you do, let's say, this extension, and the game goes like this. This way, you're also claiming territory, but in no way you're attacking the white stones. You're never bending around them, and which means that you're never going to be able to attack these stones ever in the game. This is it. White is building the influence, white is building the outside wall, and you will never even attempt to attack them or pressure them or do anything to these stones. So this is only focusing on your territory, but not thinking about trying to manipulate your opponent. In the game, you play this move, and same problem. It's pushing your opponent to connect, which white does, and then you Tanuki. So this, if you compare this to this is nicer because it promises you more points and it puts more pressure on the white stones compared to this. No pressure on the white stones, and it's like white is pressing you down, not you pressing white down. See the difference?
Right.
So
yes.
And by the way, if you don't respond here, then white has a chance to actually start pressing you down and then doing something like that to keep you down and claim control over the right side. So that's the difference. That's the difference. Whenever you can turn around, like curve around your opponent, you should do that because that's like claiming control. Whoever has this control is usually probably also getting some advantage, some overall strength, and then maybe eventually profit, territorial profit.
Okay.
It's a little hard to demonstrate exactly how this one move is going to give you many more points 100 moves later, because that's what's going to happen. It's not something that does you all the possible good right now. It's something that will become useful later. But for now, you just have to kind of feel it and believe me.
Okay.
That this Hane is a thing to do. Now, how about now? Now we're thinking about invasions, and let me offer you a couple of choices. Which invasion do you think is more interesting? Somewhere around A or somewhere around B? Okay, maybe not A. Maybe let's make it B, C. A, B.
Well, B has more space.
Okay.
And maybe B. I'll say B.
Okay. Yes, you're right. B has more space, but there's an interesting idea here, is that an invasion is not just about space. When you invade somewhere, you're trying to claim some territory that wasn't yours, yes, but also, if possible, you're trying to invade and disconnect some of your opponent's forces. If you can disconnect some of their stones and make them separated from the rest of the stones, and then maybe possibly attack them, that is a perfect invasion. And with this in mind, see, if you invaded A or around A, you're going to disconnect that stone, and it will remain kind of almost like under attack in your area. Whereas if you play B, you're not disconnecting anybody. Yes, B is a very safe invasion because B has this point and this point as your options. Whichever way white chooses to attack you from, you will always go the other way and you're very safe. But even though B is safe and B is a great invasion, but A is a more interesting option because of the triangle stone that gets separated. And then later you can attack that stone, and if white doesn't save it, then you will just kill it and get so many points. So that's the thing about invasions. Big area, yes, but even more than the big area, you're interested in if you can see that, oh, you can separate a stone and maybe kill it. Because if your opponent doesn't want it to die, your opponent will have to waste a lot of moves, play a lot of useless moves, non-territorial moves, just to jump around, just to save that stone. And that's exactly what happens in the game, and that's why your move in the game was very good. It's a good direction.
Okay.
Maybe you didn't realize it at the time that this is such a great move, but it's a good move. You see? You extend, and now the white stone is under attack. White jumps, you jump, white jumps, you jump. So white is playing all these jumping moves with no points, 0 points. Okay. And again, it's time to start thinking about invasions. Like, you've already claimed some points. Now you need to start maybe helping your stones on the left, maybe doing something on the right, maybe doing something at the bottom. But it's time to stop playing something like this. And again, how to respond to this?
Okay, well, now I'm going to say
Yes.
K13.
Absolutely. No thinking. K13. Yes. Default setting. Always attach Hane. Yes. Because, look. I mean, this move, this J14, I'm criticizing it a little bit, but it's actually not that bad because your opponent has these triangle stones and then these square stones on the right. And this move is kind of aiming to gently separate them.
Yes.
And if you were to now play this one and then this one, then all of a sudden, if we imagine that the game goes this way, all of a sudden it seems that, oh, now maybe the group on the right is going to be under attack. How is white going to live there? Now white needs to struggle. I'm not saying the game is going to go this way. I'm just saying that this is the first step in that direction of separating the two groups and then maybe attacking one of them.
Okay.
So, okay. And now, there is a move on the board which is like the only move, and you need to make it. What is that move? You need to find it. And I'll explain why it's the only move. So after this exchange, white played here and connected. There's only one move on the board. The only move to be made. Yes. Even though it seems like the entire board is empty and so many choices, but right now, only move.
Hmm.
Do you want a hint?
Yeah, I need a hint.
Okay, so it has something to do with the sequence that you just played on the right. And another hint is that in Go, this kind of urgent move is very often appears when your opponent has a very sweet, just very like some amazing move somewhere, and you absolutely need to prevent that. When your opponent has a sweet, sweet, sweet move, you have to snatch it away from him because it's too nice. And this snatching away of that move becomes urgent because if you don't do it now, he's going to play that sweet move right next moment. And right now, white has that sweet move, and you need to prevent it.
Well, you're right. I'm not sure I see that. I don't want those stones on the right to connect to the stones on the left.
Okay. So you're thinking something like a K13?
13 maybe.
Something like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. But not the urgent idea. There's something more urgent, and it's this one. Imagine that you play. What did you play in the game? Okay, you play this move, which you would have to explain to me because I don't see why you're making it. And then but suppose you make something else. Suppose you even make I don't know. Let's say this move territorially, and then white blocks like this, and this block. First of all, it threatens your R11 stone. Your A stone is in danger, and white is kind of in center, very comfortably blocking off the entire right side.
Yes.
With this one move, suddenly this wall is complete, and that means that the entire right side is under white's control after that. This move is too comfortable. Too comfortable. And you have to prevent such a wonderfully comfortable move. That's what I'm talking about. So
okay, well then what if black does that move and does R10?
And that's the only move. Yes, that's the only move on the board. That's the kind of situation when if you ask the AI, and AI is always showing you, oh yeah, you can do anything you want. Sure, there's 10 choices here. Anything is possible. Everything, all the moves are green. But then when you get to a situation like this one, it shows you, one, everything red. Everything is red. Only one move is blue. Perfect. Play it now. So yes, this is the move because now suddenly it looks very small, deceptively small. Third line, nothing special about it, but it's not small at all. First of all, you're claiming points. Second of all, you're threatening to play something here or here next, and the entire right side is now under your control, not white's control. You're not allowing white to play this comfortable move. And now you're preparing. Now these stones have less strength. Because with that move in place, those white stones become almost unattackable. You like they're so strong, and you can't even imagine how to attack them after this move. But after this move, they lose their footing, they lose their ground, and now you can easily imagine how if white now ignores you, okay, now we do something like this, and maybe this, and suddenly those stones don't look so strong anymore. The left group is a bit weak, the right group is a bit weak. So this one move is taking care of everything. But more importantly than any of those things is that every time you see that your opponent has a very comfortable forcing move against you, you should prevent that forcing move.
Okay.
In the same way as when we learn some simple variations here, and for example, this happens, and at this point, white doesn't have a choice. White has only one move. In the same way, white cannot just play away, because then black is going to play here and just kill the corner. And all those white stones that we just played there are going to be wasted. We don't want this, so we have to not let this happen. White has to play this, and this is Joseki. Black plays here, and now again, white cannot allow black to play O18. If you ignore, this is too comfortable. It's threatening that stone and threatening the entire corner. Maybe the corner can survive, but it's going to be so painful. So we have to play here. We have to not let this happen. That's the same kind of principle. Those moves look very small, second line, but absolutely indispensable. We have to make them because if your opponent makes them, it's too sweet.
Okay.
So in the same way here, yeah. And now here we are. And actually that dance, a maneuver that you performed in the center with this thing just running, it
Yeah.
again has something to do with what I showed you. White attaches. What do we do?
Okay.
Yes.
Now H6.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely H6, yes. And also H6 is preparing to break into white's area, because this is what we are trying to do. We're trying to not just help the stones on the left, but we're trying to also probably do as much damage to the lower side as possible. Maybe not kill it, but try to minimize it, reduce it, make it small. So if you will, if the game goes this way, this is not minimizing it. You're just giving white the whole thing. That's why we do this one and see what happens. If white, I don't know, starts doing, if white does this and this is already very nice. Again, we've made it smaller and we've taken more control of the center. If white tries to, I don't know, fight, then we Atari and just destroy the whole thing. The group on the left will live, but then white's like lower side will be destroyed. So yeah, instead of this, you do this one, here, 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 and then where to play next. What's a good move to play next? Trick question. Let me give you some choices. A, B, C, D.
Yeah, I like D.
It's the same move. Yes. Yes, A is just a little territorial move. Yeah, it's nice, but it's not nice enough at this point. C is just an unnecessary super aggressive cut that doesn't even work. You play C, white can just catch the stone like this in a net. It doesn't work. And yes, D is absolutely even okay. Now that you've protected, now yes, just start destroying the lower side. This is the moment. It's now or never. Otherwise, white is going to play here and prevent this. But in the game, you play this move. First line in the opening. We're still kind of an opening, early, middle game. So no. I mean, you're very lucky that your opponent responds to this, because your opponent is a 19Q also. And he also doesn't understand that this is too slow. But you have to completely just banish this kind of move from your imagination. And when your opponent does this, you should happily ignore. So if your opponent plays this against you, absolutely don't block. It's not big enough to block right now. Just, go and play this one. And if black starts doing this, ignore again. Not big enough. Just, maybe play this one. Or anything. Or maybe take these points. First line moves can never be big enough, so they can easily be ignored. Until it's move 200 or something like that. So right now, white should ignore, but white doesn't. You make the mistake, but white makes a mistake back, responding, and then you respond. White should ignore again, but white connects. Very nice, thank you. And then you jump. Not Hane. Not Hane.
Got it.
And that's the problem.
I was afraid of the cuts.
Yeah, but at this point, since you already protected, you've invested one extra stone here, right? At A. So now there is really no cut. What happens if white cuts? Tell me.
Well, I
This
could go,
this white shape is
yeah,
not strong enough.
I could go to F6.
And that would have been a very nice continuation, yes. Because white actually was supposed to strengthen that, to not let you go through, but white didn't. Instead, white was overly aggressive and trying to cut. So yes, we go through, and white is falling apart. We're slicing through the white stones and coming into this lower area. And the H6 stone is still not dead. So at some point when everything settles here, you can keep pushing, but you can also save that stone and start a fight. Because it's not clear to say who is stronger here. White only has this one H7 stone. And against H7 you have all the stones around it. So it's not easy to say that white is stronger here. So absolutely you can fight. But even if you just keep going through and separate the corner from the rest, it's also very nice. So yeah, this cut, probably impossible. White has to do this, and then you would maybe connect, and that is nice. But instead you do this ballet, and nobody does this, and then this again, and this, and again. Absolutely you should Hane, but you don't, and you connect. And then Hane again, but connect. So this is it. Same shape over and over and over again. And you know now that every time you see this attachment, Hane is the first choice you have. Everything else comes second. But the crazy thing is that you just played like how many? More than 10 stones in this line. Now, what is a nice and white even responds. First line move. Okay, so this is for the same reason. This is probably too small, but okay. White responds. Now, you just played how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 stones. We need to make them useful. So, how can we make them useful? Because if you don't make them useful, you're losing this game. You just gave white many points at the bottom. So in exchange, you need to get something. Where's the compensation? So how can we make these 13 stones useful? Let's think. And this is the last exercise in this game.
Okay, what about K13?
And yes, this is the right direction. This is what you should be thinking. You should be thinking, ha ha ha, oh la la. White now has the A and the B. Those two groups are basically inside your area now, thanks to those 13 stones. So now you should try as hard as possible to, how can you separate A from B? If you can separate them, this is a very good thing. Maybe one of them is going to die, and then maybe you win the game. So that's what you should be thinking, yes. For example, play this one. White Hane. What next?
Can do it again.
Yeah.
L12.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're strong, and when you're strong, you can allow yourself all the Hanes in the world. You have all the power here. You're the stronger guy. You have many stones. This is your area, so yeah, double Hane, of course. And if white goes this way, you just keep going and separate. If white Atari connect, if white Atari is here, maybe even extend. You have already the choice of doing this and this to kill the left, but maybe even not do this. White connects. This one, separate the right from the left. White is in trouble. White is in trouble. Or maybe instead of this, something like this, or like this. Just jump ahead and try to put a wedge between those two groups. Separate them. If you manage this, very nice. That's what you should be thinking. But in the game, you play this one. You've just played 13 stones, and now you're trying to make 4 extra points, seemingly, like these points with the help of those 13 stones. That's not big enough. And if white realizes this, white should immediately, connect, connect, connect. Connect all the stones and everything is nice. But white doesn't do it. White plays here and gives you another chance. And you don't take it. Oh. No. White plays here and you jump again, very nicely, very gently, and very politely, as always. And now white connects. And the game is over. So that was the chance. When you're so strong around, you cannot be a gentleman. You cannot be so polite. You have to start separating and attacking. That's the whole point of your 13 stones. You don't need the 13 stones to make 10 extra points. That's not efficient enough. Investing 13 stones to make 10 points? No. Investing 13 stones to get a wall to attack? Yes. Okay, so, but I guess the biggest takeaway from today was the Hane shape. Because it's so versatile and it's so commonly happening all over the place. You will see it all the time. It's like this a psychological effect when you don't know something and then you learn like some new word or something like this, and then you start seeing it everywhere. It's the same thing. Now that you know this, you will start seeing this Hane possibilities everywhere, because it's really everywhere. Okay.